DeSanto Propane is 4 generations strong as a trustworthy, family-owned business with unmatched customer service. Go online at DeSantoPropane.com for more info or call toll-free at 1-800-752-4574 today. Since 1937, the difference has been DeSanto Propane.
Hello, everybody. Welcome into Bills Weekly here on FingerLakes1.com. It's Victory Monday. The Bills completing what can only be described as an absolute insane comeback, I think. For me last night, I even tweeted it, X'd it, whatever the hell we're calling it now. I was just like, unreal. Absolutely unreal. That's the only way to describe it. 41-40, the Buffalo Bills come out victorious, rallying against the Baltimore Ravens. Paul Russo, Jim Sinicropi, Kyle Evans here with you. We got a lot to unpack from last night, to say the least, and then look ahead to week 2 against the Jets. So a lot to get to. But first, thank a couple of our sponsors, including Finger Lakes Partners Insurance. Get the insurance you need from the people you know at Finger Lakes Partners Insurance, the Finger Lakes Insurance Agency. For your home, auto, or business, you can get a no-obligation quote today at fingerlakesinsurance.com. And Lil John and Barbie Orthodontics. Dr. Littlejohn, Dr. Barbie, and their outstanding orthodontic team share a common goal to ensure the overall wellness of each of their patients through their exceptional orthodontic care. You can check them out online at littlejohnortho.com. Well, guys, I don't think and I know for a fact we didn't, when we did our predictions last week for this game, we exactly anticipated what happened last night in the 40-41 game against the Ravens for the
Scorigami.
Bills. Was it really?
Yeah.
I did not see that. That's on me.
41-40 finish in an NFL game in the history, 106 history of the league.
Wow.
106-year history of the league.
How about it? I kind of feel like that would have happened before, but hey, that's why we got
41-40.
So yeah. I do have a lot of thoughts. I admittedly feel like I might be a little bit of a Debbie Downer type involving this game when we get a little bit more into it, but at the end of the day, a win's a win. We have at minimum a certainly early contender for game of the year in the NFL already overall. Just, I mean, what a way to kind of cap off.
What could top it?
Yeah, what a way to kind of cap off, I think, for the league and for the Bills, a week 1 Sunday across the league.
It's almost as if it was scripted.
Oh, boy. Now you done it.
The thing is, you could rattle off a bunch of different stats where this just has never happened. A team blowing a 15-point lead in the final 4 minutes. It's almost as bad as the Bills' defense was, and as much as we're going to talk about them, isn't it like even worse for a team to blow a lead of that big in 4 minutes? Like it just seems impressive.
Yeah, I mean, you can't fumble the ball in that situation, where Henry did. My takeaway is that the Ravens were the better football team, and I don't even think it was really close if you're talking about both sides of the ball. But there's something to be said about having a knack to win and never giving up and playing to the final whistle, all that stuff, all those cliches. And huge win for the Bills when you're talking about a team that's trying to get home field advantage in the playoffs, and if the other 3 teams in the AFC East lost yesterday, and the Bills should have been the 4th, but they won.
Yeah, kind of like I said at the beginning, there a little bit of a win is a win. You kind of take it and move on and that sort of thing. I thought it's kind of interesting. I was listening to another game recap podcast on the way in this morning about another team, and the host of it kind of brought up a good point where you don't apologize for winning at the end of the day.
Not in the NFL.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? If you're a good team and you lose, then you apologize and you find whatever the hell kind of really went wrong. But in terms of, at the end of the day, if you get that win and you're a good team, you don't apologize for how you get there. And look no further, I'd say, than the win probability chart at the end of the day, folks.
Yeah, I mean, 99.9.
Yeah.
It should have been like 96%
Right.
maybe, but 99.9, that's crazy.
It's a wild ride when you look at it.
I didn't see what the odds were, money line Bills with like 4 minutes to go, but it had to be.
You probably could have gotten a really good deal.
Yeah, right.
I know at that point last night I was kind of out on betting, so week 1 was not kind overall to me. But that's a different time for a different podcast altogether. Yeah, Kyle, I kind of want to start with you here a little bit. You kind of brought up a good point here when we were kind of talking off air, and then you admittedly brought it up as well. For as much as we will be kind of maybe going at this from the Bills angle, if you're looking at it from an overall perspective too, for later on down the line, Baltimore kind of blew this thing a little bit, obviously, to say the least. And, for Buffalo, they just really took advantage of some errors, obviously, on the field from Baltimore, but also in my opinion, from the sideline a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, people have shows and podcasts to do today, so there's going to be overreaction for sure. And, no doubt about it, their defense was horrible. But at the same time, you look at last year in Baltimore, they lost 35-10, and then after that, the season flipped. Everyone forgot basically about that game. And like I said off air, this is probably one of their biggest season opening tests they've ever had in the Josh Allen era. Look at some of their opponents they played the last few years in the openers or even early on. So, yeah, it didn't look good, but at the same time, the next few weeks, I don't think that defense is going to necessarily give up 40 week after week. Yes, I'm concerned still, but again, I don't think we should spend a ton of time overreacting. Just like around the league, you can point at a lot of teams that you could overreact to about today, and that's what people are going to do, but I don't think it's necessary. I don't know how
one of 18 regular season weeks in the NFL. We talked about last week's show. We talked about the Bills will just outscore everybody, and that was the case barely.
Yeah, they're the highest scoring team in the NFL.
Yeah, they probably will be all year long. But there's going to come a time when Mark Andrews isn't going to drop a ball, and Derrick Henry isn't going to fumble, and Lamar Jackson isn't going to fumble, and the Bills are going to lose. Like, just imagine if those three things didn't happen. That Mark Andrews dropped last year. I think it was 2 years ago that Jackson fumbled when the Bills had the game, or when the Ravens seemed to have the game in hand.
Yeah.
And now, last night, Derrick Henry fumbled. Just imagine if Andrews caught the ball and those guys didn't fumble, like the whole narrative of, the Ravens and the Bills would be flipped.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Except the Chiefs. Remember their record of 1-score wins?
Yeah.
It's just crazy. That never ended until the opener on Friday night in Brazil.
Right.
Lost their first 1-score game in like 18 games.
Yeah, everything's kind of crazy right now. If you look at the AFC picture as a whole, I would say that after watching what I watched last night, I'd say the Ravens are the favorites to get to the Super Bowl at AFC, and the Bills are second.
Except if you're Jim Nantz on the CBS pregame show. I don't know if you guys caught this. He said the Chargers will be playing in a Super Bowl within the next 2 years, hinting at this year, next year.
Maybe.
Well, it's a Harbaugh
I think that's a
factor,
bit
maybe,
overreaction from week one.
Yeah.
Harbaugh is Harbaugh that good of a coach? I mean, it's not a Chargers podcast here, but the one thing I took away from there is like, geez, we're sleeping on the Chargers. And which Harbaugh coach? Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, that's Jim.
Yeah, it's like obviously same thing like Sean Payton's doing in Denver. The coach is very important, and I'm sure today we're going to talk a little bit about the Bills coach, Sean McDermott, and maybe some questionable things that happened last night.
Yeah.
I don't like to be, this is a happy day to be a Bills fan.
Right.
You're 1-0, you just beat the Ravens, and now you got the whole, you are the front runner now heading forward, and there's not much on this schedule that should stop them, until, until Philadelphia week 17. I mean, on paper, they should win all these games, right?
Yeah.
They got the tough ones at home. Philadelphia is even at home in week 17, but obviously every week's different in the NFL. But boy, to be 1-0 right now with that tough of a test, and
I think it's something, though, that we talked about last week, right, where this was, at least in terms of like the front third of the season, at minimum going into the bye week, this was going to be the biggest kind of hurdle for the Bills in terms of, at least on paper, right, the team that they're facing, the quality of the team. And at the end of the day, like we've been saying, they got the win. And that's the key thing at the end of the day here.
So how about the pass, the Coleman's touchdown?
Yeah.
Like, that was pure luck. It deflected, and he was there. I mean, it's not all pure luck. Coleman made the play. You know, he
Kept running.
yeah. So it's not all luck, but certainly fortunate. It wasn't like
Yeah.
it wasn't like
It's
Allen
like Chiefs luck. It's
right.
It's crazy.
And hopefully that's a real thing, and it sticks with the Bills all season.
Yeah.
And the way that game with all the things in that game alone, is this finally going to be the special year where things, no matter if they get bad at times, somehow they find a way? I mean, hopefully that's a sign of things to come, because that's what we've seen from some of these teams in the past that make runs. It just takes a bounce or a play here and there to go their way, and it happened last night.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, things break right, and next thing you know, you have, I don't know what a magic word with B would be to go with the Bills. You know, I don't know, but
Lombardi Trophy.
something. Hero of the night, one of them at least anyway, Matt Prater, the kicker, comes in Thursday last week on the practice squad, elevated because they put, with Bass being hurt and everything. I mean, if you are an NFL fan and you know the league, you know Prater now has been a quality kicker for years. I mean,
What's his range, you think?
they said at least yesterday he was making them from 53 in warm up. He has. Is it the second longest in league history now? I want to
Well, that was
say.
a long time ago, probably.
Well, that was that's a few years ago. But he's got the legs still at 41 to go out there and.
Yeah, probably
least
not the range of Tyler
No,
Bass.
no.
I don't. If you took a poll of Bills fans on who should be the kicker going forward, I don't wonder what that would come out.
It's going to be an interesting conundrum.
Tyler Bass.
Yeah,
I thought about it. What do you think? If Tyler Bass was in that situation, does he make that?
I don't
'Cause he
know.
misses extra points sometimes in big moments,
Yeah.
as we saw against the Chiefs in the
Well,
playoffs.
my main thing was, and I noticed it before the broadcast brought it up last night when I was watching, was this isn't necessarily going to be a fire drill type kick, but the way it was going to break down is you were going to have to get on the field.
Yeah, they didn't have any timeout.
And look, I don't want to be the guy. I don't know. Lord knows how we would all do in that situation. I don't know. I felt a lot more comfortable with Prater having to be the one to go out there in a rush type situation than Bass in that sense.
Yeah, I agree. I was, I mean, in those situations, if you're an NFL kicker, those are the ones you absolutely got to make. And, Prater's not a Hall of Famer, but certainly a seasoned veteran.
Right.
And, he split the uprights, almost got blocked. It looked like it was close
It
to getting blocked.
was
Kyle
close.
Hamilton almost got a piece. He was left unblocked. And I also like that field goal right before halftime. When Josh led them
Got
down
the 1
20,
second extra.
25 seconds, they got that 1 second, and for Prater to come on and make that 43 yards. I mean, again, I just felt comfortable with Prater. I don't know about
agree.
Bass sometimes.
Yeah, I agree. And I think if you're Tyler Bass, you're probably not feeling too good about yourself this morning, just given the fact that imagine if Bass comes back next week and misses a kick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I don't know. Mind you, memory is whatever here. I don't ever really remember them celebrating Bass the way they celebrated Prater on the field last night. You know what I mean?
or in the locker room.
Yeah,
McDermott had Prater address the team.
Yeah.
I mean, just a whirlwind. I think Tirico said $100 for Matt Prater.
Yeah,
You know what
right.
I mean? I mean, just crazy. Coaching his son's Pop Warner or whatever the hell he was, playing, and next minute he has to fly out to Buffalo and
And a
he's
red eye.
been living in a hotel and everything. I mean, it's a great story for Prater and the Bills. It's just one of those things where it's like sports,
Well, I
can't
just
make
have
it
to
up.
wait and see what happened, what they decide to do.
Yeah, because they have a problem coming up. He can only be elevated until week
Right.
3.
Right.
And then Bass is going to miss at least 4. So that 4th week, they got to figure out, are they going to sign Prater to the active roster? Well, actually, they'd have to, or else Ray
Right.
Davis is going to kick. They
Yeah.
have to add someone to the active for at least a week.
I mean, or the alternative to that, and I don't think they should do it this way. You play kicker roulette, which is just I don't think it's a good move when you have a guy like Prater at least available to you in the building. So
Yeah, they're not going to go at this point get another kicker.
no, right.
It's going to be either Prater or Bass.
Yeah.
What kind of contract is Bass under, you know?
It's a practice squad, right?
Bass?
Yeah. No. Oh, I thought you said
Yeah, I'm
Prater.
talking about Bass.
Oh,
Well, I know I'm pretty sure, he recently got an extension. So I think it runs through next year, if I'm correct.
I'll do my best here to cook it up quick.
But yeah, I think it's fair to definitely question whether Bass is part of their future.
I know, and
Even though it's a 41-year-old kicker, I'm just saying I'm not sure how high they are on Bass.
you saw a lot of missed kicks yesterday across the league too.
Oh yeah,
And I think,
and inside, I forgot, was it New Orleans or
young Shuku for the Falcons blew the game.
There were a lot of missed kicks and such yesterday. I do have the info here. Bass is a free agent following the 2028 season. Signed a 4-year, $20,400,000 contract extension following.
$5 million a year.
It was a rookie extension technically, so they'd be able to get out of some money, but actually, you want to know what, the guaranteed is pretty low on it. $9,410,000 is guaranteed on it. So
Well, Tyler Bass won't go hungry if they let him go.
no, but his cap hit would be, if they were to waive him or anything like that, the cap hit would be $6 million each year. So, I mean, it's not a ton.
It's not nothing,
but
though.
at the end of the day, exactly, it's not nothing. And certainly is a thought that they're probably going to have to deal with here coming up.
With guys like Prater out there and millions of other kickers out there, it's funny that the Bills, who, maybe it was trying to give Bass a vote of confidence. I don't know, but it seems.
I mean, they have, though, the past few years. We've seen that
he came through last year.
Yeah.
Remember, it was almost a relief, and we haven't even seen him kick this year. Maybe he had moved beyond all his troubles and was just going to be one of the best kickers in the league this year. But he wasn't there, and Prater was, and Prater kicked the big kicks when he needed them.
And I think
enough about kickers.
Yeah. I was about to say let's move on here. Kind of mentioned a couple other guys here before we get into some other stuff here. I know we haven't mentioned Josh Allen really yet here in this sense. But
he played pretty well.
Yeah, second half I was about to say is really where we want to go here. 251 yards in the second half. I'm pretty sure that was
in the fourth quarter.
I was about to say that was pretty much all fourth quarter.
That was just passing too.
Yeah,
total yards, it was 269.
I mean,
that's what I mean. Isn't
look,
that just as bad as the Bills'
the
defense?
fact that a guy not and this isn't quite single-handedly obviously because a lot of that was passing, but the fact that the guy contributed to 2.5 football fields of movement in one 15-minute stretch, like, have you ever? It's crazy.
Yeah, his 251 passing yards in the fourth quarter is the fourth most all time.
Yeah.
I believe Drew Brees was number 1 at 281 when I looked. So in the last 100 years, he's the fourth highest.
Yeah.
That's insane.
He just goes back to the point of kind of the absurdity of the game and where it could be placed even all time, hypothetically here, How
about, did you also see the stat where teams that score 40 in a game and lead by 15 going into the fourth had been 772-0?
Wow.
Because if you score 40 and you lead by 15 going into the fourth,
Right. Yeah.
there's no excuse.
Yeah.
Right, there's no way you can lose. You can almost just kneel on it.
And the Bills too now I think are like 49-0 when scoring 35 points or more.
30 or more.
Yeah.
At home.
Yeah. So I mean, just numbers don't lie, but sometimes they do, I guess, depending upon the way you look at it. So.
And the Ravens had been 25-0 all time in their history when scoring 40 or more points in a game.
It's crazy.
And there's so many more, but we don't have time to rattle them all off. But yeah, I mean, it's one of the worst losses the Ravens have ever had.
Yeah, and I think as we allude to, who knows with them a little bit. We talked more about that off air, but
But if you want to talk about the offense a little bit here and Josh Allen, like towards the beginning of the fourth quarter there, it's like, great, like here we go again. Like there's no wide receivers doing.
They weren't
anything.
getting open.
And it,
right,
The replays.
And I'll go ahead and say it too. It's not like the run game was exactly spectacular either last night for the Bills by any means.
But that's what the Ravens do well.
How about in the first half when they ran it 3 times to Cook and out. Remember that
The
possession?
second and third drive of the game after that touchdown opening drive. What were they doing? 3 straight runs to Cook. Then the third drive, they're running a 3rd and 6 screen to their tight end.
Yeah.
And they're trying to do all these screen plays. They totally went away from letting Allen throw.
Right. And then you're thinking, well, okay, well, Coleman's picking up where he left off last year. I guess the Josh Palmer acquisition wasn't that great, and Shakir seemed to be the only guy that Allen was even looking at. And then in the last 5 minutes of the game, the entire receiving core got vindicated, and Keon Coleman now looks like a number 1 stud, and Josh Palmer looks like a great acquisition, and Jackson Hawes.
His first catch in that situation.
Right.
And hanging on to that, too, is what I was.
Well, I was going to say, I was left impressed by the tight ends overall last night. It was
they
good
all
to see,
contributed.
I was going to see Kincaid involved pretty early on. I was going to see Knox really involved, and obviously Hawes was.
I thought it was Kincaid that caught that ball.
Yeah.
until
No,
he was
I
like,
did too.
Jackson,
I thought it was as well. Like, that's the part that threw me off because, like, you could only really see the 8 and then, like, the side of, like, the number going down. So I was like, what is Hawes? Like, well, hold by Kincaid. I was like, that's not
Funny to
Kincaid.
think that, in that situation, they got Jackson Hawes out there and they run him on a post, and Allen had confidence enough to throw it to him.
Yeah, and there's a replay of Keon Coleman just waving his hands in the middle of the field wide open. And then it was on that play to Hawes. And people are saying, man, Josh Allen's a sicko for throwing to his 3rd tight end in that spot, a rookie tight end no less,
Right.
while he had Keon Coleman wide open in the middle of the field. Just for his eyes to see that. And Hawes is there to be a blocker, too. He's not even there really to be a pass catcher like Kincaid and Knox. And every player caught at least one ball except for Tyrell Shavers, Ty Johnson, and Reggie Gilliam. Even Ray Davis had a catch, even though it was for negative yardage.
Yeah.
So I think it was like 8 different players.
Yeah,
caught a
Coleman, Shakir, Palmer, Cook, Kincaid, Hawes, Knox, and Moore all caught a ball.
ball. Yep. So I guess everyone needed to get involved though when you're trying to come back like that in the fourth.
Coleman 8 catches, 112 yards, and a touchdown. Like that's the stat line that we were hoping for.
What do you think about the 2-point conversions though with him? The one where he's got called for stepping out, even though he got pushed a little bit, but still.
Well, Andy had a drop.
And then the fade. What do you?
Well,
that's
okay,
that's
all
a
right.
terrible play call.
So let's get into that then right now. Pretty good transition, I think. The coaching last night, certainly a few head scratchers along the way.
The time management was probably the best McDermott's ever had. Before halftime and in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. But the stuff in between. Look, I get what analytics say. I put my hand up. I do believe in analytics to a certain degree across all sports. However, I don't like when you already have the point up and good, and
Took the point off the board.
and you take it off and risk losing it, and they lost it because at the end of the day, whether he was purposely shoved out, he went out on his own, however you look at it, Coleman stepped out, came back in to make the catch. And then, to me, the worst one, Kyle, like you brought up, I don't know why you're doing the fade route right there for that 2 point.
Well, I don't like where they take the point off the board because now you're at the 1 yard line.
Yeah.
But then you go in a shotgun.
Right.
Like, if you're going to do that, then why kick the extra point? Just go in the shotgun and try to get the 2 points from where you were. I mean, I thought when they did that they were going to line up. It was either going to be some sort of either Allen sneak or a play action type of play where Allen's rolling out and with the option to run or pass, but instead they put him in the shotgun and just threw a pass.
Yeah.
And they did fail a QB sneak in the final few minutes.
Yeah.
Allen went to the left side finally because they always went to the right. But I think the Ravens probably studied that all week. Well, they're not going to keep going to the right. They're probably going to go to the left. So they were all over him.
And the one they scored on, he actually just jumped over.
Yeah.
Which is the way to go, I think.
So can you believe that they can't figure out how to do the tush push?
No, but that's my thing too with this is why are you doing it still off to the side? Teams are anticipating you doing it off to either side now.
Yeah.
That's my main thing is you had all off season here to figure this
That's how they
out.
lost in KC. They couldn't convert those.
Yeah. I don't know, and it's one of those things where especially after that first one, I guess, after Prater makes the extra point and then they go back up to try and go for the 2, where I'm just like, what are we doing here? Like, you have the one, you're in a good enough spot where you can go for two. Then afterwards down the line there, if you get another stop, like what, like that just.
Again, to me, it's not that they went for it, it's just the play calling
Yeah.
on the actual play. Because, like they said in the broadcast last night, the thinking is, well, you go for it now. That way, you know if you got it or not, instead of waiting to, so you know
Yeah.
what you're going to need later on in the game. But it's hard to come down too hard on McDermott when the Ravens are a better football team, but the Bills won. Usually, you give accolades to the coach. When you're not the better team, and some Bills fans might be, what do you mean we're not better than the look, did you watch any of that game? Like, Travis Henry rushed for 170 yards. They couldn't contain Jackson. Zay Flowers, 160 yards receiving. And then, defensively, you can't even compare the Ravens defense to the Bills defense. The Ravens defense is like top to bottom. Maybe the defensive lines are kind of equitable, but linebackers, edge to Baltimore. Secondary, clearly edge to Baltimore. And they won. So, good job, Sean McDermott, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
see a lot of people giving him credit today because of his clock management. Usually he's terrible at it.
Yeah.
His
Right.
timeout usage was good. So I do agree. But, yeah, the 2-point conversion's over
I
for 3.
didn't like the fact that he didn't leave himself one at the end of the first half, though. I mean,
Yeah.
and how could the Ravens let out pattern with 1 second like that when they were rushing nobody? So the Ravens kind of screwed up there, and then the Bills were lucky. If this was 10 years ago, everybody's in the locker room. They didn't used to review things like that.
Yeah.
But
Well,
they
they-
put the 1 second on the clock.
They brought up on the broadcast, I forgot, that
tenths of a
the
second.
tenth of the second was on the table, and they took it off for whatever reason. So
I didn't think that he got out of bounds, but on the replay, clearly
Yeah.
he was.
yeah,
So they got it right, and the Bills got the 3 points.
yeah, the defense. I don't even know fully where to begin here. I thought the D line did a pretty good job, all things considered, after the first quarter. Really, everybody behind them though afterwards. I don't even know where to.
Ed Oliver was really something. And Bosa looked good in his
Yeah.
debut with the Bills. Looked really good.
Yeah.
He looked like a lot to handle. He got to Jackson a lot. He didn't necessarily, like a lot of people get to Jackson and can't finish the job, but he also did a good job in some spots containing him.
Yeah.
The defensive line was good.
The Ravens were also getting the ball out very quick when they were throwing it. They weren't letting Lamar really stand in the pocket long until a few times late in the second half. And then another thing is they were going no huddle a lot. So the Bills couldn't communicate because it was so loud what they were doing, and they'd already have the snap off. And a few times they looked like they were caught off guard, and I think the Ravens had a good game plan coming in, but of course,
And they put up 40 points, which should have been good enough to win.
yeah.
In most NFL games, it is.
Yeah.
And the Bills leave 6 points on the table with the 2-point conversions, and they still win.
know.
Again, I just it doesn't feel real today.
Yeah.
They won that game.
Yep.
Is there anybody out there for the Bills to kind of go and at least check in on here for the secondary? Because that they can't. I don't think they can get away with having like what happened last night. I mean, that was obviously a big concern point we talked about for the past 3 weeks here on the podcast, was that secondary, and it kind of showed itself.
First round
in a
draft
big
pick's
way.
the only guy that's not out there now.
Veteran from New England, Jabril
Peppers.
Peppers.
Yeah.
Hey, he cannot be worse.
Yeah,
than
that's
what they
true.
have.
I mean, that's true.
He cannot be anywhere. I mean, Christian Benford, he's usually good. He struggled. Cole Bishop was not good at all. DeMar Hamlin was taken off the field at times for Cole Bishop.
Yeah.
And Taron Johnson, where was he? Did you even hear his name once?
No.
I mean, it was really bad. Matt Milano, Terrell Bernard. I mean, you didn't see much of them make plays that they should make.
I mean, it's never a good sign, in my opinion, when you're leading tacklers, DB, and Benford was the leading tackler for Buffalo last night. That tells me that the pass defense is not doing their job at the end of the day.
A lot of those tackles were probably on Henry after he broke free.
True. Yeah.
Or is this the week Jordan Poyer's coming in?
Well, I was about to ask, and mind you, it's a little bit different, but, does a guy, like, when he gets back to being 100%, like Trey White, make a difference, right?
Well, what's the rookie's name that we drafted? Harrison?
Maxwell's.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
But he's out until week 4 because he's IR, right?
Yeah.
right.
So-
But in the long scheme of things,
Right.
4 weeks is not that long. No, who knows if he'll be back in 4
Right,
weeks?
true.
But
Yeah,
hopefully that can help. I mean, first round draft pick. We saw a lot of first round draft picks across the league have great debuts yesterday. And ours for the Bills was, is on the IR.
Yeah, not just first round picks, kind of picks across the board even. So
Yeah.
could definitely make a difference. Yeah, it's just, and it does lead me, and it's a good transition point probably to get to, against the Jets. Seeing what the Jets kind of did a little bit to Pittsburgh's defense even, which was supposed to be one of the better ones in the league, does have me a little bit concerned as well going into this week 2 matchup in East Rutherford at MetLife, where for whatever reason just is like a Bills kind of black hole of sorts.
I could see the Bills
struggle
losing
down
next week.
Yeah,
after winning this week.
they struggle.
Jets.
They struggle down there for whatever reason against the Jets. It just kind of is one of those type deals. They're
going to have
there's some
another running
concerns.
quarterback to contend with.
Yeah, there are some concerns going into this matchup. I feel like that at this time last week when we were talking, I don't think I necessarily would have had. And I do now in this matchup where it should be probably the opposite, in fact.
Yeah, anytime they face a top running back, it's concerning. Breece Hall looked really good. Justin Fields, of course, can run, but at the same time, Justin Fields cannot run like Lamar. Justin Fields actually has a problem because he takes too many sacks. So, yeah, it is concerning, especially because, like Jim mentioned, or I think you mentioned too, they don't play well in New Jersey when they go there.
No.
In fact, they're 1-2 in their last 3 games there, and even in the games they've won, they've been low scoring. And so I don't know what it is. They just something changes when they go there, and you're right. The way the NFL goes, they'll win that game like we just saw last night, and then go and lose to the Jets.
Like 12-9
Yeah,
or something.
Yeah.
not even score a touchdown.
Yeah, I actually think we're going to win next week, but it doesn't help that the Jets lost to the Steelers in that fashion last week, and the Bills won in this fashion. It's just, but like you say, the table's set now. You're going to be favored against New York, Miami, New Orleans, New England, and Atlanta probably in the next 5 weeks for the bye week.
Yeah, in fact, if you're going that route already, the early lines as we stand right now at 10:34 Monday morning, the Bills are 6.5-point favorites against the Jets this week on the opening
Similar
line.
to how the Giants were, or the Redskins or the Commanders were against the Giants.
Yeah.
It's that type of divisional matchup where the best team in the division's playing the worst, and that line's at 6, only because it is a divisional game.
Yeah. I mean, who knows though? The interesting part too here, if you really look at the numbers of it, the Jets getting the 6.5 is actually an underdog bet. Technically, it's plus 105 on the money line. So
I wouldn't feel comfortable betting it.
It's an interesting spot there if you lean that sort of way. Yeah, we mentioned Fields. Breece Hall had 170 yards on the ground for the Jets yesterday. Wilson, 95 and a touchdown through the air. Just one of those things offensively, they looked pretty good in their defense. What was thought to be kind of their stalwart spot, kind of leaned and broke a little bit against the Steelers. So, I mean, who kind of knows there? It might be a spot where it might be another just race to 40 in a way. Who knows? But I don't see that necessarily
I think
happening.
that the Jets will pound the ball on the ground against the Bills and try to keep the Bills' offense off the field as much as they can, and it's really going to be a test for the defense to kind of bounce back from this horrible performance last night, and keep the Jets under 20 points, maybe 15.
Yeah, it's
Don't want to see
don't know, man.
the offense have to go out there and outscore the Jets and win, to score 40 points to beat the Jets.
Yeah.
It should be a more traditional win where the defense steps up and makes the Jets look silly, and the offense, just does what they do as one of the best offenses, if not the best in the league, and they win comfortably. But every week's different.
The NFL is a fun mistress to have. So,
And then after that, we'll go play Miami at home, and if there's
It's going to
one
be fun.
team that looks ridiculously bad, even though they're at full strength.
Their offensive line is the major issue. I mean, Tua was turning the ball over, but a few of those times you look, he had no time to even scan the field before he was getting hit, or at least getting a hand in his face.
yeah, but
And that line's been a concern for a few seasons now.
Miami legitimately looked bad yesterday. Like from the jump, looked bad. I think off air I said 20 seconds was about how long they were in the game for yesterday.
Yeah, I mean,
Like-
did Tyreek Hill even suit up?
Yeah.
Oh, he complained a lot. That's what he did do.
Yeah.
Well, he's upset. I mean, I'm sure most Bills fans probably at least saw this to some degree, but he's upset that he didn't get a captain spot this year because he walked off the field last year and everything.
And
So they didn't.
he's
So
not a captain type.
yeah, so they took away his captaincy, and I guess he's mad about that. I just like, dude, like it's kind of what I said on here, and I know a couple other podcasts. Like the Dolphins, I just like, I don't know where their heads are at more than anything else this year. And
Yeah, but
week
personnel.
one, who the hell knows where they were as well? So
Yeah, Mike McDaniels will be the first coach fired. Mark my words.
yeah,
I agree
you're
with that.
probably not wrong at this rate. Yeah, and then the Patriots looked. I wouldn't say they looked bad. They kind of looked like I kind of figured they might have looked a little bit, but they were in that game for pretty
Yeah,
much the
they'll
whole
be
time.
all right.
There was a lot of weird games. In fact, going into last night's game, I saw the stat. It was the lowest scoring week 1 since 2010.
Really?
But of course, the numbers last night, the 81 combined
Right.
points, are going to probably
Change
and then the game tonight will probably
Well.
change that. But
Who knows what we might get tonight on Monday
Bears,
Night Football?
Vikings.
It's that.
we're
yeah.
going to get a good one.
Go ahead, Kyle. Tell us why it might be good.
Don't really have a thought. I just
J.J. McCarthy debut.
yeah.
Caleb Williams.
Caleb
version
Williams. The
2.0
Bears
maybe?
fans are high on Caleb Williams after his great preseason performance against the Bills. Remember that?
Yeah.
They went nuts over that
Yeah, he hit a couple tight ends on passes, and next thing you know, he's gonna.
against third
He's
stringers.
in the MVP talk with Allen and everybody else. Yeah, no, it'll be a fun game. You got Roma Dunze version 2.0, Caleb Williams version 2.0,
Yeah.
and then you got no matter who the Vikings put at quarterback the past few years, they produce.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold did last year.
I mean, shit, it goes back to the technically what was supposed to be the second year of Kirk Cousins when he got hurt, and they had Case Keenum and friends underneath center, and they were
Putting up numbers.
in the NFC title game. So, hey.
So we saw what the Packers did yesterday.
Yeah.
So the winner of this game is got to keep pace, with who looks like they're going to be the front runner in that division, which would be the Packers.
And the Lions won't. I know this is completely off topic. The Lions will not be that bad, but I think the Packers are probably going to sweep the season series against them.
Well, they will have to go back to the Detroit in the Silver Dome. Or is that where they play the
Ford Field.
Yeah,
Jim, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. The Silver Dome, I think, hasn't been a thing since.
a long time. But it's
Yeah.
an indoor stadium in Detroit on turf, not outdoors like at Lambeau.
Too much talent not to.
Yeah, but they said, going into this year, they said, well, they're missing key pieces of their offensive line. Their offensive line's not as good.
And they couldn't run the ball because they fell behind, early in double digits. So Jahmyr Gibbs didn't really have that game that he usually has. And
Defense didn't look good for Detroit.
No.
But that's not our concern. That's not even in the same conference
Yeah, so
as the Bills.
it's rogue football talk we're talking here. So, all right, let's do game predictions then, I guess, for
The Jets.
before we get out of here for week
well,
2.
didn't he predict a high scoring week 1?
You
Did you ever put Do you put the numbers down? Do you have them with you?
Yeah, I left them in the office like an absolute idiot I am.
Because
So.
I think he was pretty. I remember him saying like a 40-something game.
I think I said 42-39.
Yeah, you did say that. And I think you said game-winning field goal as well.
Well,
Not by Tyler
we'll
Bass,
never
though.
know.
Yeah,
Not by
so-
Tyler Bass. No. I do know that much. You said not by Tyler Bass, though, Jim. So
So let's let him lead
I
it
guess
off.
we can't give you full credit over there.
He can lead it off with this prediction.
Well, you try to think of like what type of game it was, and last week I think I envisioned, just a shootout, and that's what we got. I could never have imagined that type of comeback. This week I just historically going by you know how things historically go for the Bills when they play at New York. I'm going to say that the Bills win 24-16.
Okay. You're in the same ballpark as me, kind of. I was leaning 21-13 though, Bills.
Not like an explosive offensive game, but enough to win comfortably.
Enough. Yeah. And I think I'd like to imagine this can be a bounce back spot a little bit for the defense overall. So I think that's kind of what I'm hanging my hat on a little bit. But yeah, I just, for whatever reason, like we've said, they just kind of struggle a little bit down in New Jersey against the Jets, and hard to
There's two ways to look at it though. Like, one is like, okay, they just had this high on Sunday Night Football against a really good team and they won, and so now you have a letdown. Or, okay, from the defense perspective, you just played probably the most high-powered offense in the NFL, and now you're playing the Jets with Justin Fields and company. So maybe things will come easier. Maybe the defense will look better next week just because last night they were tested at a high level, and it'll be a bit more league average type of stuff next week.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go based off history of the Bills playing in New Jersey. I'm going to say the Jets are actually going to cover this game.
Oh.
Bills 26, Jets 20. So by half point.
Half point.
We all got the Bills winning by less than one score against the Jets, so we all are in agreement.
Yeah.
Did you say 21-13?
I said 21-13. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well,
that's one score.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yours would just go over.
I guess, yeah.
But I'm not going to take this, like, for betting-wise.
No.
I just,
I
it's a
wouldn't be
prediction.
shocked if they lose this game. I wouldn't be shocked.
All right, that's,
But, like, if they did get by this game, I would be shocked if they didn't handle Miami, New Orleans, and New England all at home in the upcoming weeks. And that brings us right into the middle of October. They go at Atlanta next on Monday night.
Hey,
And then a bye week.
speaking of the Saints, I'm going to do this here now, too. What the hell were they wearing yesterday? Did you guys see?
I kept thinking it was Seattle.
Jesus.
Every time they go to, I thought it was the Seahawks.
Yeah. Once again, here on NFL Weekly, brought to you by Bills Weekly, but
Well, it's exciting. Football's back. We're seeing all the red zone yesterday was incredible. Sky Hansen. There was no. They did the commercials during red zone. Didn't seem to really matter that much. I didn't really.
yeah, they did not. They didn't advertise the advertisements right. That's for sure. When they said they would, and I think Scott even had to go out there, whatever it was, Thursday or Friday, when he was like, "Look, there are going to be like 15-second things. Like, don't, he goes like, I understand it, but don't, freak out."
I didn't notice. It didn't bother me at all. I literally watched red zone all day from 1 and 4 o'clock.
Yeah,
windows.
I think the only one I noticed was the first one, which was like a Wingstop ad, and I think the only reason why it caught my attention was because I was like, "Hell yeah, lemon pepper wings" or something like that, like something like atrocious like that, where I was like, "Damn, those look good." So either way,
What I don't love is all the pregame stuff before the Sunday night game. Yeah.
well, we should have known something at least going into that game was going to be up, because the way they did Thursday night, for the Cowboys Eagles, NBC had that game as well, obviously, and I was watching a little bit of the pre stuff there, and I'm just like, what the hell is happening this year with this pregame show? Like, they had the cartoons, which I'm assuming are AI, was just like, Jesus Christ, what are we doing?
Well, and then you got like I'm just so sick of hearing like the same old cliche statements,
Right.
either pre or post game. Like they went down before the game last night, and they're like, we're gonna go down to whoever, Hannah Storm or whoever it was, with Derrick Henry. And he's like, Derek, what do you guys got to do to win this game tonight or whatever? And he's like, well, we need to take care of the ball. We need to blah, blah, blah. Like it's worthless. Who cares? He's not saying anything that it's just a waste of time.
So I come from this angle a little bit from, for those who don't know, big NASCAR fan. And I feel this way about NASCAR a ton. I think it's the way I feel about a lot of sports now. So I'll pose it to you guys this way. Would you rather have, and this is a part that sucks because it always feels like it's more on the pregame or pre-rate, however you look at it, side of things. Would you rather have a better pre-event show or a better post-event show? Because for me, I'd rather have a better post-event.
They both should be good, right? If
No,
you're gonna
right,
do it.
but like what I'm saying is, would you rather the energy be more focused on like at the start or the end? Because for me, I'd rather have it at the end.
I like, you know what was good in the post game was talking to Josh Allen and Matt Prater at post game. That was good.
Yeah,
Talking to Derrick Henry before kickoff was just
They did it with Josh Allen too.
Right.
You could tell he wanted no part of it.
right. They're like
Short
getting ready to
answers,
play
and
a
he wanted.
game.
He was locked in, ready to go for this big game, and he's getting asked by Melissa Stark.
Yeah, that's who it was.
These weird questions about, oh, it's the Ravens again. How do you feel like?
right. But that's the thing with
It's like, well, we're gonna go out there and do our job. You know, just this typical cliche thing
right. No,
that athletes say.
that's the thing. Like anytime it's a pre-game race, whatever you want to call it, show, it's just cliched nonsense, right? It's just, yeah, when you go out there, they're a tough opponent, blah blah blah.
You know,
Whereas
post two is not great either. It's better because, like last night, it was great to see Prater with Allen, and you're looking at the dynamic of the fact that they probably didn't even know each other, or still don't know each other, or whatever.
Right, but to me, at least post game, like the guys are more likely to be opened up a little bit and a little bit more.
Or they'll
loose
say
and-
something like, "Well, you know, it's just one more game. We got to get back to work. We're gonna get back to work.
Sure,
You know, we
yeah.
got the Jets next week."
Yeah, Allen does it all the time. It annoys me.
Athlete interviews on field before after a game are done. You know what I'd like to see in a pregame show more of is I would like to see the analysts actually, you know, give their bets on player props or like last night. Every single member of the NBC crew picked the Ravens.
Yeah.
Every single one.
And a lot of people, I think ESPN, everyone from there did too.
So, so you know, at some point last night they should have came back to it and said, "Well, you guys were wrong."
Yeah, I think it's tough because even though, and you know, we're definitely way too far down a rabbit hole to a degree here at this point. But like, even though it's not what it used to be, that's why I view like college game day to be pretty good in a lot of spots because like Nick Saban's literally giving you like everything you want in terms of like breaking down like what this team could do with this play and stuff like that. Like that's the stuff for me that I really
I like that too. It's not Rodney Harrison
Right.
last night just saying whatever.
right. It's not for me. It's like I don't have to hear Jason Garrett give some sort of just yeah, you know, you talk about whatever, but just some cheesy coach speak about like you know, Josh Allen is going to want to go out there and win. Like, yeah, no kidding. I think there's 53 guys on each team that want to go out there and win. like, you know.
And let's not get started with Chris Collinsworth.
Oh, here's a guy.
Especially at the end of the game. He was acting like the Bills were 100% getting the ball back. I'm thinking, if the Ravens get this first down on third and whatever it was, the game's over.
I thought the Ravens would go for it there.
I thought they were too.
I mean,
Did you hear what Lamar said? I think he said his leg or his hamstring, something that was acting up late in the game, which is why he didn't push Harbaugh to go for it. So it's either that was true or he's covering Harbaugh and the PR department must have told him to say that or something.
he could be, and he also, you know, had Travis Henry's back when they were asked him about the fumble, and he's like, "Look, that guy had 170 yards. It wasn't it had nothing to do with him why we lost."
Yeah.
Do you want to get into the fan incident too with Lamar, or does that not matter?
Well, we've done a couple different times on here with
dumb,
the fans. I just look.
Keep your hands off the player.
Yeah.
I was about to say I have a skewed opinion on this because personally, to me, just the way fans treat these guys in general across all sports, just they're human beings at the end of the day too. Yeah, I just
Fans go to these games, they think that
They're entitled to do
part of it.
something.
They
Yeah.
think they're actually part of the Bills Mafia team. You know,
Yeah,
they're going to make an impact. They're going to hit
Right.
somebody on the helmet from
And-
the opposing team.
and for me, it's to a point where I view things as like, yeah, one of these days, I think a player's will be vindicated enough to actually go up there and like kick somebody's ass because
Lamar Jackson was close.
yeah, and
It's also telling
Yeah.
that Lamar Jackson pushed a fan and received zero repercussions from it. Like,
Right.
that's kind of something
it's
that
telltale to me. To me, it's and that's the thing where it's like, yeah, I'm not going to sit here and act like what Lamar did is right, but like at the end of the day, if you're a fan and look to me, that's a kid. That dude did not look north of like 20 years old who did that yesterday. Like, just somebody who probably has not been told no enough in their life and thinks they can do whatever the hell they want.
Probably drunk.
Yeah. It's just one of those things where it's
also
like,
embarrassing at that point because
Yeah.
after that DeAndre Hopkins touchdown, the game was
well, there was also the one after
Could've been
that.
over.
After that, the Derrick Henry touchdown. Somebody threw a bottle of something at him when he was in the end zone. It's just, Look, I've said it on here a couple different times throughout. We've had this podcast, like, be smart, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But, like, there are a lot of fans across multiple sports. I don't want to sound like I'm blaming and pinning only Bills Mafia here, but, like, we're entering an interesting stage of F around and find out with a lot of this stuff.
You should be arrested.
Yeah, like, yeah. So I also thought it was pretty telling, too, that I don't know if you guys saw it, but on the broadcast, I noticed that the first 2 or 3 rows behind the Ravens bench got cleared out at some point last night.
Really?
Yeah.
Probably a good thing.
Yeah. So I don't know what that was about, but just it's a little bit of do better. Just, act like a decent human being for the love of all things holy. These guys are people too at the end of the day. You know what I mean? They just because they make more money than you and everything like that in that sense doesn't mean that they're not susceptible to being hurt and stuff like that. So
Yeah, well, and like if DeAndre Hopkins was signed by the Bills, the people would like him. It's like, who gives a crap what team? Like they're just guys playing football, and you want your team to win, and you gotta appreciate, the guys on your team. But if Lamar Jackson was the Bills quarterback and Josh Allen was the Ravens quarterback, then professional sports is just people get so passionate about it, and really they're just happen to be located in your town, but these guys are getting all these $1 million contracts. Like I can see it sometimes in college sports, just given the fact that, like, okay, so you went to school there, it's your alma mater, and your kids go there, your father went there, and you all like. And it used to be, at least, that the guys on the field were part of your family too, because they went to school there.
Right.
But now that's becoming more like pro. It's just watch the game, enjoy it, root for your team. But my God, don't insert yourself into the narrative by running on the field or throwing shit on the field.
It tainted a few moments there of pretty good football and stuff like that. So. All right, let's go off our soapboxes and get out of here, I guess, on that note.
Hey, it was a great first week 1 recap show. I mean, it was last night when I went to bed, I was like, oh, I can't wait to do the podcast tomorrow because this was an awesome game.
Yeah, and hey, hand up, there was a moment at about 10:30, 10:45. I debated about going to bed early, admittedly. And
what if they lost?
I didn't.
What if they lost that game and that comeback didn't happen? Like, let's just say Henry didn't fumble and they drove down the field and ran out the clock or whatever.
Yeah.
We would have been.
This would have been a very different.
We would have been ripping on the Bills, saying they're. And I still believe that we're not the best team in the AFC. The Ravens were better last night. They were a better football team, and you can't rely on things like Henry fumbling last night or a touchdown pass getting deflected into Keon Coleman's hands to win games. If you want to go to the Super Bowl, you need to definitively be better.
Yeah. 100%.
And they're not, but they got a lot of time to work on it.
Yeah. That's why, to me, I said to you coming in the office today, Jim, I'm like, even though they won, I feel like I was going to be a little bit of a Debbie Downer today. And I probably was to a degree, but I don't know. Maybe I sound a little bit more chipper than I thought I was going to be, too. And
No, it was fun. It was fun. And if this is anything, indicative of what season we have in store for us, it should be a wild ride, as usual in the NFL.
Oh, yeah. All right. Next Monday, 10 a.m., recapping the Jets game. Sound like a plan, gentlemen? It better be, because
like a win.
Either way, I'll be standing here doing it.
2-0.
Appreciate everybody for listening and tuning in. Week 1, Victory Monday, so go ahead and enjoy the rest of the week for that. Bills Mafia. Most of you outside of that kid deserve it. Like, share, subscribe, all the fun stuff here for the FingerLakes1.com YouTube channel. It's where you can find Bills Weekly and all our other podcasts. Bills Weekly, you can find it on FingerLakes1.com, the FL1 YouTube channel, and all major podcasting platforms. Back at it again next Monday, 10 a.m. Good luck to the Bills. Let's go, Buffalo.